Hello golfers, it's John Dunigan with more Carside coaching. I am on my way to work to help my friend Joe DiChiera conduct a webinar for K-Motion, which is a 3D biomechanical analysis company. Conduct a webinar on their brand new wrist angle training program, which is really kind of cool because guess what? There's only one part of you that's holding that golf club, and what your hands and your wrists do and your arms do so dramatically affect your results as a golfer that I think it's maybe the most important thing in the entire world of golf. So for me, I think the two most fascinating things to consider in golf are the feet and the hands. And the reason is because you're coming into contact with a different surface. Hands hold the grip. Feet hold the ground, so to speak. Your brain can be more sensitive to those. Again, because they're coming in contact with something else. It's kind of hard to know where your hips are in space. Do not touch anything else. So, this idea of the wrist angle training, and you know, I have a Swing Catalyst 3D motion force plate, and which shows stuff like your ground forces, how you shift back and forth, how you twist against the ground, and how you push down and lift off from the ground. And you're going to hear about more and more of this stuff in the near future. I think you're starting to hear a little bit about it, and it's going to get more and more mainstream. And it really is important. Now, the way that we talk about it is one thing. The way that we get a golfer to execute any of these forces at the handle of the golf club or forces at the feet is kind of different. But anyway, I think we should have a couple things understood. That's a wrist, and that wrist is flexed, and that's extended. That one is neutral or flat. Now, folks, that is not that hard to understand. And I know there's a lot of people that think, oh, that's way too technical. But the fact of the matter is, when your wrist does this, we have to call it something. Nobody knows what the heck it's called anyway, so let's call it flexed. What it really is. Isn't that simple? I think anybody can understand that, and I don't think that's too technical. Now, at the top of the backswing, flexing the wrist helps to close the face. One thing really interesting about golfers is the best golfers in the world square the face up early. They almost universally, when they transition their lead wrist, in this case, I'm showing my left, but I'm going to crash a car here. I'm going to show my right instead. The lead wrist flexes in transition. It's virtually universal on elite golfers. Whereas the normal golfer, the club golfer, the struggling golfer, actually extends the wrist, which opens the face in transition, and now we have a situation. Now the club face is getting open late into the swing. Remember, we only have 0.25 seconds to get from the top to the golf ball. So now we're throwing the club face in an open position because your wrist is going the wrong way. And now the golfer is going to stumble. You're going to have to stop your body motion. You're going to have to flip the poop out of those wrists coming into impact in order to give yourself any way of hitting a functional golf shot. So this wrist angle training stuff is really cool. We can start to get this squaring motion into your swing much earlier. And we can even make a ding the second you get that wrist doing the right thing. Now, And interestingly enough, I won't use the wrist. I know that sounds weird because it's wrist angle training. I'll use the club face. And when I get somebody to point the club face sort of away from the target, that makes the wrist flex. Now, the human brain works way better with point the club face over that way than it does flex the lead wrist. And that has to do with internal versus external focus of attention, which would be a different video. So anyway, you've got this flex extend at any time during the golf swing. But you also have this cocking and uncocking of the wrist, which, now those words probably should stay, but uncocked, cocked. Boy, it's a lot less than you think it is, isn't it? Usually when people think that, they actually do it in two versions. They uncock, they cock, and extend. But that's extension adding. That, by the way, feels like you have more wrist angle, and you do, but at the expense of really opening the club face. So when you think about your golf swing, and you think, boy, if I send another golf ball 4 right into the trees, I'm going to jump off a bridge, I would look at what you're doing with that club face. I'd look, as you know, at address first, because it's not hard to boom very quick when you hold the darn thing. Make sure the grip's on there in a functional way. Second, I would take a very big look at what you're doing with that club face at the top of the swing. You'll see it in the club face, or you'll see it in the wrist. Start with the club face. If you can't feel the club face, if you can't, okay. Sometimes what I'll do, because I'm a funny guy, I will use the foot powder on the face and draw 2 eyes and a little smiley face and say, hey, point the face over that way. And the wrist will change for it. It's very interesting, but what I have found conclusively, people respond to the club face in whatever way their brain sees fit to undo the mess you made on the way up. So take care of the mess, and you are going to hit it the best. All right, Dunigan out. Hit him great.